Rest in peace, Dennis Reynoso. He got killed by Lynn police, got shot in the chest twice, unarmed, in front of his 5-year-old son. But anybody can look that up, man. Dennis Reynoso, veteran, rest in peace, brutally killed by the police in front of his 5-year-old son.
You got a moment when they see you down, there's no they love it.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Bounce Back Podcast. I'm your host, B. Luke. I got a special guest with me today. So why don't you tell the people your name, where you're from, and just a little bit about yourself.
A lot of people call me C's or Cilo. I'm from Lynn, Mass, 781 Sin City.
So you just got out of prison how long ago?
I just got out in June.
How long was that bid?
I got sentenced to 10 to 14 years, but I was able to, do a little maneuvering, a little bit of paperwork. I got a couple years back. So I did the 10. I did 9 out the 10 to 14.
Okay, so just talk a little bit about what you've been up to since you've been out.
I mean, since I've been out, man, I'm still trying to get my everyday structure. You know what I'm saying? When you behind a wall, you start planning and you start organizing shit in your head and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. You start making small baby step goals, because that's how you gotta do it. You gotta make little goals. But even those ones get thrown to the side, because once life hits, it's a whole different, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole different ballgame. So I'm still trying to get my life situated.
That's it. No, don't, the way I always see it, bro, is like, you know what? If you plan to be out the rest of your life, you got plenty of time, bro.
Exactly.
Don't rush into it, man.
That's
you don't plan to go back.
I like that one.
Go back anytime soon. So let's just rewind a little bit. Talk about what was it like growing up in Lynn? What was that like? For
the most part, yeah, man. It's gangland, man. So there's a lot of trouble. Even when you're not looking for trouble, you might find yourself in some trouble.
Talk a little bit about what's your home dynamic look like? Do you got any brothers and sisters? You have both parents?
I got 5 brothers and a sister, but I only grew up with one of my little brothers in the house. My older sister, she went with my grandmother, and my grandmother basically raised her. Also myself, like I got moved out to DR when I was a baby, because my mom's, she was 17 when she had me, so she was still kind of young. So they sent me to DR till I was like 6, 7 years old. When I came back, I didn't even know how to speak English, so I had to start everything all over again. Yeah, Pop Dukes got deported, and him and my mom was really, my whole life he hasn't really been there like that, but I really respect the dude. I really learned a lot from him. Even, he's not in the house, but I'm still learning from him, you feel me? So he was a major part of my life, even though he wasn't with me.
Talk a little bit about what you kind of remember from DR in those early years. Anything that stand out?
Getting in trouble, man. Since I was the American, they used to call me a little gringo out there, So the teachers used to like let me get into a lot of trouble. I used to get in a lot of trouble. All the neighbors used to call my grandmother like, yo, he's over here acting crazy, I'm jumping on trucks, taking little rides down the street and shit, Just doing little kids crazy shit,
Absolutely. And then, so you come back, now you say about what, 6 years old, you go back to school. English was kind of...
All right, so when I came back, they basically told my mother, like, he can do the bilingual. But my mother was like, I remember she was like, if he does the bilingual, I'm gonna be stuck doing that. So I kind of like stood back a year and kind of relearned the ABCs and everything.
Okay.
But
you feel like that was the right choice?
I think so, because when I was in school, I remember they used to have like the bilingual cluster.
Yeah, we had the same thing in Cambridge, the Amigos class, they called it.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like they didn't really excel, or really, because it's still getting learned, taught in Spanish. So a lot of them still kept the accent, or really didn't really learn the language, because they was taking, it's like a crutch, basically, you feel me?
Absolutely, it's important to, read, write, all that.
If you gonna live there, you gotta learn the language.
So how did you do as a student after you picked up the language? How was that?
I feel like my whole life, I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I was like the student that was the bright student that the teachers would be like, if he gave 100%, if he gave more effort, he'd be such a good student. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was always book smart, always had that, I can't say street, because when I was a little kid, I wasn't in the streets, but I just had that little bad boy. I was always in trouble, class clown, talking a lot. I was the one that was getting yelled at all the time. But I was, like I said, book smart. I got everything I read, I was able to attain it and write it down and be able to convey what I read or convey what I just learned. You know what I'm saying? I was able to like break it down, and that like, just hearing that from the teachers always, even though I was in trouble in the streets, it always kept me liking to learn. I like to learn. I like to read because I was hearing those positive affirmations here and there. You know what I'm saying? So,
And I think sometimes we kind of get to a certain age too, and we kind of forget how fun learning can be, and it's really looked at upon like kind of differently. Like that's geeky, and then all sorts of other things going on in the street.
So it's funny you say that because, like, if you come to the crib late night, I might be watching history or some science, space things. I be with a shorty. I be with my shorty. And she's like, "You really watching this right now?"
Yep.
And it's like that's what I like to. That's what I like to watch. You know, my downtime.
What about sports? Did you get into any sports?
Sports,
like
sports definitely always the smallest one on the football team. I did boxing, definitely did boxing. Won a couple medals, couple trophies. I used to bring them to school.
Nice.
You know, I used to go to school with the black eye. You know, and be like, I was in a fight, so it was like kept me popular, kept me, you know.
But boxing's a lonely sport.
Yeah,
you got to put in a lot of work.
You definitely got to put in a work. Well, when you're training, there's a team. So we used to do competitions. So let's say we're going to the silver mittens or we're going to the golden gloves. The gym will have like 4 guys that are training for that. So it's kind of is like a team thing. Because we're going to the beach together. We're running 3 miles in the morning, 5 in the morning, hitting 3 miles. You know, we're working out, doing pads together, you know what I'm saying, bags or whatever, in the gym working. So it's kind of a team sport. You really need a team to train. It takes a unit to get you ready.
You feel like that probably helped motivate you to go on those jobs, whereas if you had to do it by yourself, it might have been a different
That's a
story.
fact. When you got somebody running with you, it makes it a lot easier.
Right.
And that's in everything in life. When you got your right-hand man with you, man, you going to...
And then sometimes you want to show out and you'll go a little harder, as if you were just jogging the
Friendly
block
competition.
solo.
Friendly competition.
Bring the best out of each other.
That's
and how
a
old were you when you started boxing?
So I started boxing when I was around 14, 15 years old.
Okay.
So I started going to DY when I was around 16, 15, 16 years old. So when I'm coming out of DY, it's like when I go to the gym. And then when I stopped boxing is I was 18. So I go to the gym. We have a new gym and the coach was like so excited to see me. He's like, there he is, there he is. There's a dude that's in the ring with him and they doing their little workout with the pads and everything. He's excited to see me. He told dude take the gloves off. He started giving me all the attention. So I started going to the gym, then I got locked up again. And once I got built out, but it was just the point of knowing that I'm back in the bullshit. I started going to the gym because he really put in a lot of work. Like he really cared about us. So when I felt like I wasn't doing my part, I just fell back, you know. And it was a decision that I really regret. You feel me? But
everything happens for a reason.
That's how I felt at the time.
Other than actual like the boxing skills and like the physical stuff, man, like what else did you get out of boxing? Like any life lessons?
Yeah, stay militant. To this day, man, like I said, I only boxed from 15 to 18. You know, like seriously, I always shadow box and train or whatever but to this day, there's a lot of life lessons that I got from my coach, you know what I'm saying? Or from all that training. I'm militant, man. Like even when I was behind the wall, dudes see me, man, I'm militant. I'm tunnel vision. And I'm not trying to be rude. Dudes know me. I'm cool with everybody, but I'm tunnel vision. And that's just that I learned that because when I got my eye set on something, that's it. I'm going. You feel me?
And I feel like you definitely got to take that and be able to utilize that in other aspects of your life. You know what I mean? That tunnel vision, whatever it may be, whatever goals or dreams you're chasing and stuff, you definitely utilize that. So as far as school, did you start getting like suspended? Did you start having falling outs in school?
All right, so
start getting lured in by the streets a little bit.
It's crazy because right now I'm still in school. Right now I'm getting my bachelor. Well, I'm working towards a bachelor degree.
Good shit.
And we was just talking about the school to prison pipeline, and this is something that I'm learning about older. But this is something that I was experiencing when I was younger and didn't know anything about no school to prison pipeline. When you got your principal or your teacher saying like, "I will call your PO,"
right?
That's school to prison pipeline if I ever heard it.
Right, literally, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like I got into a fist fight and did 3 months in DY.
Okay.
I mean, you get into a fist fight, you're supposed to do 3 days in detention, not 3 months in DYS.
Yeah. So talk about that first experience in DYS. Like what leads up to that? Do you just get in that fight and they lock you up right away, or is it you get the probation?
No. I was on probation. Let me not act like I was just a good kid and then they picked on me because I was a Spanish kid in the classroom. Now, it wasn't like that. You know, when I'm 15 years old, I start running around in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Now, we get into breaking into cars, you know, the juvenile shit, you know. We're not stealing car parts because we don't even got a car to steal the rims for. We don't got no fence to sell the rims to.
There's no financial incentive.
There's no financial, exactly. So, you know, I've gotten cases like that, trespassing, breaking into cars, little kid shit. So by the time that now I'm getting into the fist fights in school and that I'm on probation, that's when school and the system started intertwining.
You go to DYS for the first time. Where's that at? Do you go to Metro?
So I went to Harvard Street, which was it used to, I don't know if it's still like that. It used to be like MDU, Charlestown, Spectrum, like Challenge, all in one building. So I went
I've been
there.
To every one of those blocks.
Yeah, I was in all those floors. It was like green jumpsuit, brown jumpsuit, all types of shit.
Sorry to just kind of throw in my experience there. Getting the Spectrum and making my bed. And underneath the bed was like a nail with a duct tip. This is DY, bro.
Fam, I mean, there was some DY joints that was realer than a lot of places that I've stopped when I was older.
It kind of makes you realize where you're at. So, all right, so you get to Harvard Street. Just what's that experience like?
It's one of those things that you're nervous because if you're not feeling no type of nerves, I don't feel like you're human, but you get the nerves, but it's still an experience that you want to experience because of the lifestyle that I'm in. So it's like a badge of honor. Like I made it here, and I'm gonna get through this, and I'm gonna rap. You understand what I'm saying?
Twisted thinking.
And I'm gonna let people know who we are.
You could throw your box, so you're not really worried about that.
Exactly.
Too much.
I always felt like if they're anywhere around my size, it's gonna be an easy fight. You feel me? So and then I've always been the smallest one of the crew, so I've gotten to learning that I'm always gonna be the smallest one when we get into the rumbles and all that. But
I'm sure you must have got underestimated though all the time. That worked to your advantage.
All the time. But like I said, you get those nerves, but it was an experience that I wanted to. It's the twisted mind frame that you're like, oh, I want to plant my flag here. I'm only gonna be here for a little bit. This is juvenile shit, and I'm gonna be up out of here. So so I was there for a couple of weeks, and then they sent me to a program. Then I did like 3 to 5 months in a program. Okay. I went to Brighton Treatment, to the Brighton Treatment Center in Brighton. Yeah, man, that experience was crazy because, like we were saying, you find stuff like that. You start thinking like, oh, this is juvenile shit, but then you getting into like manly shit. Motherfuckers, you get hurt. People getting physical. The staff start restraining dudes and not just breaking up the fight. You're gonna get into a fight and then you're gonna get bundled up after the fight. It was an experience that didn't teach me no lessons, and that's the problem with DYS and that whole system. Is that it's a gladiator school. It should have been that I get into a fist fight in school, and if they sent me to DYS, I was supposed to learn something and not end up back, or definitely not end up in the adult system. Understand what I'm saying? I came home and just felt like I was just there for 3 months. Whatever. What's next?
Do you feel like you get out of there, you're more prepared for the streets, or are you more prepared for the adult system, almost like training?
I mean, I feel like it prepared me to be stuck in the system because that's eventually what happened. You know, I never got off of probation. Okay,
so what happens? Do you go in and out? When do you eventually get done? You get committed to DYS?
I got committed to DYS at the age of 15 or 16 years old. I maxed out when I was 18, so they let me out on my birthday when I was 18.
So did you do like that 2 years straight, or were you in and out a few times?
I was in and out for like small, 3 weeks here, a month here. Then when I was 16 and a half, I picked up a case in Alaska. Oh, shit. So when I was 16 years old, I got picked up in Alaska with a kilo of cocaine. So luckily I was a juvenile, so they only held me till I was 18 years old. You know what I'm saying? But so I maxed out when I was 18. They had to let me out. And I mean, I was probably in Middleton jail a couple months after that.
You're committed, you age out. Do you get your GED in DYS? Are you going to school? What's going on with that?
No, so in DY I was going to school, but I didn't get my GED because I was just bullshitting in there, always getting in trouble and shit. So I never got to finish. I ended up getting my GED like later on. I was trying to get into the military at the time. Okay. They had told me, well, you need a high school diploma GED, so I ran to the community college around my way. I signed up for the GED, passed that. And then I went to the recruiting office. I was like, yo, I got my GED. And we started the process. At the time, like I said, I was already picking up cases, but they was all little bullshit, fist fights and, you know, the trespassings and the bullshit. And so they was like, don't worry about it. Your record is still not that serious. We can get waivers. But then, like everything, like it kept reoccurring in my life that when things are going good, I'll pick up a stupid ass case.
Yeah.
So while the process of getting the waivers for the military, I ended up picking up another case. Okay. So that dream went on.
So before we get into that adult case, I just want to get you thinking on why'd you want to do the military? What was your thinking behind that? All
right, so my man D Nice, rest in peace, Dennis Reynoso, he got killed by Lynn police, got shot in the chest twice, unarmed, in front of his 5-year-old son. That's a whole nother story. But anybody can look that up, man. Dennis Reynoso, veteran, rest in peace, brutally killed by the police in front of his 5-year-old son. But at that time, he was going through the recruitment process. He's like, yo, listen, man, I'm like, yo, you crazy. But then he kept talking about it, I'm like, yo, listen, man, we out here bugging out. So he telling me like, yo, we can go overseas and we can do the same shit. They're not gonna take the gun from us out there. Right. They're gonna give us the guns. I'm like, oh shit. You know, just that small little kid thinking got me into more serious thinking like, yo, hold on. I might get real opportunities, you know what I'm saying? I might get financial opportunity, you know what I'm saying? And mind you, I already have a kid. I had a kid when I was 15 years old. Yep. So I'm like, I gotta do something. I gotta be a man. So I'm figuring like, this might be it. You know what I'm saying? Who else is gonna hire a gang member from the street? These guys might take me. So I was gonna try that out, but picked up that case.
Well, things like that, it seems like, you know, the long game, the delayed gratification, that stuff's slow, right? You gotta go through the process, but the streets is moving fast. The streets are moving fast. So you catch that case as an adult. Middleton, is that what happens next?
Right, I end up in Middleton. And that's the thing with the county jail, man, is that you're in and out that revolving door. You know, you go in for a year and then you got 2 years of probation. Then you pick up a little, driving without a license. Next thing you know, you in there for 2 more months. And then you come back out and then you pick up another stupid driving without a license. It's like just the stupid back and forth shit with the system, man. You know what I'm saying?
You ever hit like the farm or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. I went to the farm back in the days. The farm is way different than what I'm hearing now, man. But you know, like I used to go to the county a lot in like the early 2000s.
Gotcha. Okay, so at any point when you get close to wrapping up one of these bids, what's your plan when you get out? Are you planning on trying to?
I mean, everything is always good when you're locked up. I mean, mentally you're like, I'm gonna do the right thing this time. But 5 years into this bid, that thinking that I've had before, the thoughts might have sounded the same, but the feeling was different. You feel me? When I was saying like, yo, I'm done, it was like a for real, I'm done. Okay. And like, you can really feel it. Like, you know when you're being real with yourself.
Okay, so let's talk about that. You get out of Middleton, eventually you catch this case that brings you upstate.
Yep.
So I guess just talk about, you don't gotta get into any details or anything like that. Like, how old were you? Maybe what the allegations were.
I got charged with a manslaughter that came from an overdose. So I sold somebody what I thought was heroin, but was fentanyl, and they ended up dying. So this was in 2015. Around my way, fentanyl was fairly new, so I couldn't tell the difference. You know, it looked the same to me. I ended up selling some to a guy that I was doing business for a while with, you know, somebody that I wish this would have never happened to. You understand what I'm saying? He ended up doing the drugs. He ended up, unfortunately, passing away. Rest in peace.
I guess talk about how that works. How do you find out like you're getting charged with that? Because that's not even.
So when it happened, I didn't know. I didn't know for a couple months. I didn't even know that he passed away. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? I get set up by the police, and I'm thinking that I'm about to bail out because they're telling me I sold to an undercover cop. This is what I'm thinking. Now, while I'm getting fingerprinted, the police officer says something like, "Oh, everything's fun and games until somebody gets killed." Now, when he said that comment, I'm not getting what he's saying. I'm not putting two and two together, which I should have got it off the rip, but I didn't. And then, so after the fingerprint, now I'm sitting in the cell, and now another detective comes to the thing, and they start playing the games like, oh, we can go up the ladder. You know, you can walk out of here right now. This and that. and you know, and he mentioned something about somebody dying now. Again, I'm not getting it. I'm like, yeah, get away from myself, man. Stop playing games with me, man. Like, come on. And so now I go to the court the next morning, and now they're reading off the charges, and the DA's like, you know, but the overdose, man, my knees buckled, bro. Because I mean, wow, like, you know, that's when you getting money, man, you're not trying to hurt nobody, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you just trying to get $1. Like, I didn't pick this game. You know what I'm saying? Like, we trying to get money to get out the hood. We're not doing this shit because we want to do this shit. You feel me? Yeah, it looks like we're having mad fun. We buying clothes, we buying jewelry. Yeah, we're getting money, so we're gonna look good doing it. But we're not doing this shit because we want to. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this, and I'm not saying that we don't have it, because we do have a choice. But what better choice do I got right now? You feel me? But then you get used to doing this shit. This becomes the easiest thing. And, you know, the streets and the hustle, that's a habit too. So you form a biggest habit, and you're able to pay bills. You're able to support your own habits, because, man, listen, even hustlers got habits. You understand what I'm saying? So
even if it's just smoking the za, man, that's a habit.
So there's a lot of shit that go with this, man. But I'm not trying to go too deep into
no doubt, yeah.
But so when I find out that about the charge, it's like, all right, this is serious now. So now it's like, I'm not bailing out. I already got a record. They got me. You feel me? They been want me. They got me, and they set an example with me, because I'm the first person that got charged with an overdose for fentanyl in Massachusetts. So I'm actually the first one that went to trial. But I didn't go to trial because I wanted to. I went to trial because there was no deals. They never put no deal on the table for me. Because they don't have no case laws.
Nothing to go off of.
Nothing to go off of. So they're like, all right, whatever. We're going to use him. And now we got case laws to go on. You know what I'm saying?
And try to make an example out of you.
Exactly. Plus, the overdose rate at that time was through the roof.
Wow.
So
talk about, I guess, getting back. You find out your charges. You get to Middleton. Like, all the emotions. Now you're in jail. You know you're not getting out. This dude that I mean, granted, sometimes, it's just, you know, somebody you sell to, but sometimes you get to like these people. You know what I'm saying?
You build you definitely build a relationship.
So
and
then,
it's definitely good.
Then it's like you lost a person, you know, that you knew, and now it's like the charges.
Right.
You're young at the time. Like, what kind of things are going on in your head?
I'm thinking about my family. You feel me? Because once again, I let them down.
What's that conversation like when you got to tell your mom? Is she in court when those charges are read, or do you got to call her and tell her?
When I'm in court, the only one that was there was my shorty, my fiance was there. It's like one of those things that I hate having to call Mom Dukes again and be like, damn, again. You know, that's because it breaks her heart every trip. Yeah. It's like one of those things that she don't get used to it. It might have happened 27 times I get put in handcuffs. She gonna cry every trip. Yeah, so I'm thinking about my family. I'm thinking about my kid. You know, because at the end of the day, those are the ones that get hurt the most. Yeah. You know?
Absolutely. So now talk about we're getting closer to trial. I mean, are you asking your lawyer? Like, yo, what can we get for a deal? Like,
so I'm still trying to play my cards as I want to go to trial, so that the DA feels like, you know. So I'm still got my poker face on, like I'm bluffing, like I want to go to trial. But sometimes I'll be in court for like a motion or something, and I'll just throw it at my lawyer, like, yo, what's up? They haven't offered nothing. Like, she hasn't, and he'll be like, nope. Now, the day that I went to go pick my jury, I remember the judge asked, is there any way that we can resolve this right now? And the DA just jumped and was like, nope, like mad fast. And I'm like, yeah, she's not playing ball.
So I take it also they must have had a pretty airtight case if she's that confident too, because a lot of times they'll take that plea for the conviction.
In my eyes, I feel like I had a case that could have been beat. Okay. But we all feel like
it's not a slam dunk,
but we all feel like that though. We all feel mad optimistic. Oh, I'm gonna beat this. But I mean, I don't know.
Okay, so
I can't call it.
Yeah, the verdict comes back guilty.
Yep.
So what is it? Guilty of manslaughter?
Guilty of manslaughter.
Distribution? Any other? You know how they try to slap?
Well, yeah. So I had a distribution, but I had the distribution before the manslaughter charge. So when I picked up the distribution, the indictment for the manslaughter, they went in front of the grand jury like 3 times. I guess they couldn't get it at first.
Okay.
I guess they didn't have enough evidence or whatever the case may be. So I got the distribution first. And now while I'm sitting in the minimum about the parole, that's when my lawyer come to see me and was like, yo, you just got indicted. So I had to start the whole process of court all over again.
So they come back with the sentence you said was...
So I had a 2.5, and then I got an 8 to 12 for the manslaughter.
Okay.
So on and after gave me the 10 to 14.
Okay. So talk about, I guess, where's the first stop at this point? Where's Walpole? Where's class?
So when I go upstate, I was in Middleton, the county, then I went to Walpole for like 5.5 months, something like that. And then I went to a minimum because it was the first time I went upstate. Okay. Then I get the indictment. So once I get a ring, they bring me straight to the medium. That's when I went to Shirley Medium. Okay. So I was in Shirley Medium from 2016 to 2019. Then, I was in there hustling and shit. I got ratted on. I ended up in the max. Okay. So I ended up in the max from 2019 to 2021. Then from there, I ended up going to Concord. Now, when I get to Concord, I get the opportunity to get into college. And it just, it changed my life, man. You feel me? I feel like my life was kind of changing at the time, but that was like a tool that like got me over it because it kept me focused. It like gave me something to look forward to every day. You know what I'm saying? It gave me the structure, and then it gave me the community. It gave me like a band of brothers that are like-minded, that got goals, and that are putting in work, they get into it, you feel me, cooking up.
So when do you think, the college came a little later, when do you think like your mindset changed where it's like you want to do the right thing? Is it up the max? Is it once you finally get out of there?
I'm gonna keep it $1. I always want to do the right thing. And somewhere in my head, I'm always thinking I want to do the right thing, but I just don't do the right thing, you feel me? But when I'm sitting in the hole before I go to the max, I sat in the hole for like 5 months. And damn, I can't remember this book. I came across this book and it was called A Letter to an Inmate or something like that. And it was like short stories of inmates and success stories and stuff like that. And I've always had like an entrepreneurial mind frame, like even before I got booked and all that. So I have these little goals, but then when I read that, and it just gave me this motivation. And then from there, I'm like, I'm gonna change what I read. I stopped putting down the hood books. No more hood books. Now I'm just self-help books, entrepreneurial books, financial literacy books. I start changing what I feed my brain. Now I start getting this craving to keep, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to keep learning more, and I'm building my brain muscles, you feel me? And it just keep flexing and flexing. Now when I go to the max, something happened at N1 where the cops get beat down. So they locked the whole prison down. And so now I'm locked in, now I'm doing more reading. Then COVID hit. So I'm doing even more reading. So by the time I leave the max, I done read like, I lost count of how many books I done read. Then I met Chris, shout out to Chris. We're in a dorm, so I just get there. So I'm like new man in Concord, we're in the L's. So it's like 1 a.m. I don't know how I came across this conversation. He's like, yeah, it's something about class. And I'm like, oh shit, I want to go to college too. And he's like, oh, write to Hillary. They already did the interviews and stuff like that, but if you write to her, you might get in there because so it's like 2 a.m. and he's helping me write this letter. And that's how I ended up getting into school. I mean, I got to Concord, got into school like this, mad quick.
And did you pick up on it fast? Did you have to kind of knock off some rust, or was the reading keeping you sharp?
Nah, it kept me sharp. And then before I went to the max, I was doing some school too. Okay. You feel me? I was doing a small business, Mount Wachusett. They was doing like it was like a certificate program. Yeah. So that's where I was dusting off the dust and all that.
And then I take it at this point you start to reignite that love for learning that you said you had.
Right,
and then, does that start to build your confidence too?
Exactly. The writing is what builds my confidence. So when they be like, write this essay, for some reason when it comes to writing, it just flows. So that's how writing is how I really built my confidence when it came to like school and education and stuff.
Okay, so then you get into doing the school at Concord. I mean, what's like your first course, your first semester, and how does that go?
So the first semester we get hit with like nutrition.
Okay.
And then so it's like I'm like, oh, this is serious. But you want the challenge though, because you want to feel the heavy load, the college load. You feel me? Because you're behind a wall, and then you get this opportunity. It gives you more of like a civilian type feeling, like you're doing something that's you should be doing out in society.
It's like an escape, probably.
It's like a little escape. You feel me? So when you get them challenges, it's like, all right, word, I'm really doing college right now. I don't want the shortcuts. I want the work that they doing out there.
Yeah.
So if they doing a 12-page essay, I want a 12-page essay.
And was that something that you look forward to every week and everything?
Definitely, it gives you something to look forward to.
And how important is having something to look forward to in a place like prison?
I mean, in a place where a lot of misery, a lot of depression, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of tension, a lot of violence, a lot of hopelessness. And then there's a lot of childishness, a lot of joking around, a lot of just bullshitting and not doing nothing with yourself or with your time. That when you get this opportunity to education, and then it's gonna give you beneficial incentives, that it gives you a better chance of success when you come home. Yeah, man, you get super motivated, Brody.
Talk about how it is having like that group of like-minded individuals all working towards something positive.
Yeah. It's real strengthening, because if you're nervous about it, the guy next to you, he might have a lower educational grade level than you, or he might be a higher level than you, but he might help you out. You know what I'm saying? But when you have everybody as a unit moving together, you definitely get motivated. You definitely get that strength, and you want to build them up too.
Yeah.
So now it's like, I don't want to let him down. I'm doing this for me, and I'm doing it for him. You feel me? So it's like you get this bond of like-mindedness, and it's a little bit of sparring too, because dudes get a little competitive.
Intellectual sparring though.
What? It get crazy. Listen, man, it get crazy. Okay. Especially your brother. Oh man.
You have any like positive highlights from that whole like college experience, like being locked up, like that stands out? Any memorable moments or something that
a lot of laughing.
Yeah.
A lot of laughing, man. A lot of laughing and a lot of opening up. You would never think that you going to school, and I used to laugh sometimes. I'd be like, oh man, this turn into a therapy session.
Right.
Because now the walls are coming down. So when you get off the block and the walls come down, now you're starting to talk about things that you've been wanting to get off your chest. That you've been looking for that friendly connection with somebody to say things that you really want to say that you might not even be able to say to your roommate. Right. And that's, your celly's your dog, but you still don't have those type of conversations. It's like, you know, it's different. When you go to that building, when you step into that school building, you're in a whole different world. So
talk about what it's like to, I guess, to get back into school after a little summer break or whatever. Is it something you're looking forward to?
Definitely.
Are you excited about it?
It's one of those things, man. I mean, it reminds me of when I was in school back in the days when I was younger. Like when the summer's coming up, it's like I'm excited about it. Oh, we're going on break. But then it gets too boring. It's like, all right, I need something to do, man. 2-3 weeks of just doing nothing. Oh, nah, man. I need to keep moving, you know?
And eventually you work towards a degree?
Yes, I got my associate's degree behind the wall.
Okay.
With my cohort, you feel me? We started off like 17 deep, and I think like 14 of us graduated.
Nice.
I mean, that's
What was
ill.
the graduation like? What was the ceremony like?
So we didn't get to get a graduation.
Because of COVID?
No, not because of COVID, because we was moving.
Okay. Oh.
So I was in Concord when it closed down.
Yeah.
And the last semester was like a rushed semester because the transition of moving. So they kind of like held, when Concord was closing down, we was like the last to leave because they worked it out as of, I don't know, the school system probably, like they worked it out that we're not gonna get them out of here till they get to finish.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. So just what was that like to get your degree though, man? I mean, you must have made family proud. You must have been super proud of yourself.
First thing I thought about was my mother.
Okay. Yeah.
First thing I thought was my mother and my grandmother, because man, I'm older, man. I still like to make them proud.
I mean, do you feel like at least you get that out of all that? You know, a lot of times prison is just like a waste.
It was a blessing in disguise, man. Like, I wish I didn't have to experience it, man, but prison in some ways, man, saved my life.
Do you think that if it wasn't for prison, you probably never would have went to college?
I probably would have been dead by now, man. Forget college, you know. I probably wouldn't even be here right now.
What's your favorite part about school in college and learning?
My favorite part is thinking about the future, and I'm talking about like further in the future, because I want my family to see that. You know what I'm saying? So if I can go to college, they can go to college. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this college education will get me financial stability, so now I can build, you know, generational wealth, because that's the goal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe this education is the foundation to that, you know, to change the cycle, you know, that my family got.
Do you think there should be more access to college and education in prisons, and why?
100%. 100%. They're doing applications right now. Hillary said that this was the biggest application lot that they ever had, and she can only pick 20 guys. So if 200, 300 guys, I think, applied, she can only pick 20.
Wow.
You feel me? And it's like, yeah, that's awesome. 20 guys is getting an opportunity. But then out them 20, mad dudes getting left out, and then the politics start coming into play. Because I remember when they was picking our cohort, there was guys that deserved to get picked, and they didn't get in, not because of the education wasn't letting them in. It was because of IPS or because of the prison. You feel me? So then that gonna come into play too, to the process of who gets picked. So it's a big game. You feel me? So yeah, dudes get left out, man. So definitely there's gotta be better access. 100%. 100%.
What's something that you learned about yourself with this whole experience, the college experience, bro?
What I learned about myself is I'm resilient, man. So many curveballs, so many speed bumps. I can give up. Yeah. I don't have to go to college. I don't gotta go to MyTurn. I don't gotta do none of that. That's not one of my conditions of parole. You feel me? I go there because I want to be there. So
talk about that. Talk about the MyTurn program for those who might not know what it is. Okay, it's kind of like a extension of what you started in there.
All right, so MyTurn is a program ran by Hillary Bender that gives formerly incarcerated individuals an opportunity to, they do a program for 10 months. You get 14 credits, and that 14 credits goes towards your degree. So after that initial 10 months, you can either apply to go to Tufts University, or they can help you find another college that's probably closer or, you know, better suitable fit for you. You understand what I'm saying? It's a major program because it's changing lives, it's giving guys opportunities, and we got to go hard. We got to go hard because this is going to be for other guys in the future too. You know what I'm saying? So if we're successful, more funding, and it's just going to be more opportunities for guys behind the wall to get an opportunity to get out here too. Yeah.
So maybe that next time 200 guys applied, hopefully all of them could get it.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know, I feel like it'll make the street safer when people get out. You know, people have something.
Yeah,
to
I mean, if there was a financial, if there was a reason why the DOC should do it, because I feel like when it comes to like the CRA program, I mean they picking up 60 guys a month. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Why they're not doing that for school? Okay. You know why? Because the CRA is bringing in big bread. You feel me? So yeah, of course they don't care about guys coming in and out the program. You know, they should give guys more opportunity because it's a proven fact that once you get into into that program in the prison system, it really works, bro.
The recidivism rate.
Of course, there's guys that go to the hold. Of course, there's fist fights. It's prison.
It's gonna happen.
But dudes is changing, Brody. We're talking about killers reading poems and doing plays, Brody. I'm talking about 1 month, they're walking around not even greeting people. The next month or the next year, you see this man, he's a changed person, and there wasn't no program, Brody. So it's school, and it's not just because he's reading books. It's really the community, and it is the education too, the process of learning and everything. But yeah, man, I mean, we need more access to education in the prison system.
Absolutely, and just even having that structure when you get out, something to do with your day to revolve your day around.
It taught me of what I have to do every day.
Yeah.
It taught me of like, all right, so behind the wall, I worked in the barbershop. So I'm getting up, I'm going to work in the barbershop, and then I'm going to class, and then I'm going to go do my little workouts, and then I'm going to go eat. And it's showing me this little structure that I'm bringing out.
Being locked up all that time, right? You even said you had some whole time in there. So I guess talk a little bit about like the worst part.
I mean, you always got to watch your back. I'm not gonna get into specifics, but I mean, one time I seen a cellie stab his cellie.
Yeah.
I mean, the doors pop, we go off a record, pop, 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 quick.
Crazy.
Mind you, he sent the kite around, like, yo, I'm about to get him as soon as we get out. You can hear them talking like it was regular.
Wow.
And he's setting, like, he just letting motherfuckers know, like, yo, get your shower quick and get your phone call, 'cause I'm about to do him dirty. So just that sense of always having to watch your back to even somebody that you think is your boy, because they wasn't arguing or beefing. There wasn't no confrontation that you can hear that you be like, they about to fight. They sound like they're laughing and carrying on a regular conversation, and you send out a kite to everybody else. So it's like, if I can see that happen to that man, it can happen to me.
Doing all that time and the whole time too, like what kind of mental health effects do you think that has had maybe on you or can have on people, or have you seen it on other people?
Mental health in the prison system is chaos. The mental health counselors that they have there, they're great human beings. But what they're being taught is not working. You feel me? You will get a counselor that you can tell that they genuinely care, but the whole setup is not set up right. You understand what I'm saying? And then there's like a certain amount of medication that they have, and they give it to everybody for different diagnoses.
Yeah.
So it's like a treat all type of pill. You feel me? So it's not gonna work. I mean, it might. Right. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Doesn't fit
but how the hell you gonna give somebody that's schizophrenic, somebody that's depressed, and somebody that's hallucinating, somebody that's just not having some type of mood instability? They all getting the same medication. It just doesn't make sense.
So what are some things that you think you've learned in prison that you can take out here on the streets and use it in a positive way?
What I learned in prison is that I like to help. Because when I'm helping myself. I remember being in like programs like the CRA or criminal thinking or violence reduction, and I'd be around, Latino brothers that couldn't speak the language, they couldn't speak English. So for them to get their good time or for them to pass the program, I will help them with their work. You know what I'm saying? And I get joy out of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they might offer me a soup or a mackerel, and I'll be like, nah, I'm good. I'm doing this because I want to. You feel me? And it helped me sharpen my teaching skills, like tutoring skills. So, you know what I'm saying? And for me, translating and translating English to Spanish or vice versa is hard for me for some weird reason. I'm fluent in both, crazy fluent in both, but I suck translating for people. But it kind of helped me translate for people too. So yeah, man, that's one of the biggest things that I got out of prison, man, that I learned from my bid is that I love helping people, man. No bullshit.
So what are some things now that you've been out, you did a lot of time in, like you said, almost half your life on the inside between being in and out and everything. What are some things that you're looking forward to moving forward?
I'm looking forward to building a big family, man. I'm looking forward to building a big family and just keeping my freedom. And I just hope that I can help as much of the youth that I possibly could, you know? Because that's one of my main goals is to work with the youth around my community.
Okay, so talk about that. What would be your main message to the youth?
Selling drugs and gangbanging is not what you got to do to fit in, to be cool or to be down. Growing up, we used to always hear this, and this goes from hood to hood to hood, that, oh, the cars, the clothes, the OGs with the you know what I'm saying? That's the ones that's gonna get the girls, and you don't gotta do all that.
Right.
You can get jewelry, you can get females, you can get cars another way. You don't have to sell drugs and gangbang to get that. You can still live that lifestyle, but eliminate the illegal activities.
Yeah.
You can still look fly and drippy, but you don't have to be a gang member or drug dealer to look like that.
Absolutely.
You feel me?
Especially this
You can still go to the clubs and bag shorties and drive a flat car and do. You don't have to have that illegal element to live that lifestyle.
And the stress and everything that comes with that too.
Of
Not
course.
knowing when they're gonna kick the door.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's not a great way to live, man. Looking over your shoulder like that. So I guess talk about some of the goals that you have. You know, short term, long term, whatever.
Right,
What are
so,
some things you're trying to accomplish?
So right now, like I said, I just came home in June, so integrating back into society hasn't been super easy for me. In a sense of, it took me a while to find a job, you know? I've had countless interviews and it seemed like they were going good, but then I wouldn't get the job. And I know why I'm not getting a job, even though they're beating around the bush, but it's obvious. It's my record. It's me just coming out of prison. And it's not just that I got a record, because a lot of these places are Corey friendly. Yeah. But when you're fresh out, they don't know. Right. So they want to, you know what? He's probably a good fit for this job, but I mean, he just got out. We don't know if he's changed or not.
Manslaughter charge is a tough thing too. It's not like, you know, every
tough to digest.
felonies are different. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's tough to digest, man.
But you did get work, right?
So yeah, so like I was saying, so one of my goals is to find better work. What I got right now, I would like to call it like a bridge job.
Well, the way I see that too, is, and my advice too, is like it's always easier to find a job when you have a job.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
you
a
said,
fact.
that whole thing, not having recent work experience, references they could call, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
What advice would you give to somebody that, you know, was in that situation looking for a job? Because I people hit me up in the DM sometimes looking for a job, and they, you know.
My biggest advice is do not quit. Do not quit.
You just need that one yes.
Exactly. There's going to be 400 no's. You just need one yes. And tomorrow you might not get that one yes. But it's going to come. That's a promise. You got to keep going, because it's so easy for us to fall back to the old habits. When I'm struggling to find a job, you know how many times I ran into like old customers or people that I knew from the days when I was hustling, that I could be like, or family members or my friends that I can just be like, yo, listen, I need a pack, man.
So what keeps
and
you
not
from
only
not
do I need
doing
a
that?
pack, but I need clientele and I need the whole get up, and they'll give it to me and I'm good. But that's not the route that we need to take, man. We need to keep going. We can't quit.
So what keeps you from going back to those? Do you have like a conversation with yourself like that?
Remember when I told you that you know inside?
That feeling.
That feeling when you saying you done, I'm just done.
Okay, so talk about when you got that feeling, when that happened, and what
I mean, I was locked up. So when you on the phone and you're telling people like, yeah, when I get out this time, they might have heard all this before.
Right.
So they're like, oh yeah. So when you get out, we'll see that. But while you're saying that, you have a different feeling inside.
You're like, I'm gonna just show 'em.
Yeah, like you know inside when you saying I'm done, you're like, yeah, all right, so you'll see when I come home.
So
you know what I'm saying?
Being fresh out, like what advice would you give to somebody just came home today, man? Like as far as the whole process and readjusting.
Surround yourself around family, and if you don't have close family around you, surround yourself around positive, like-minded people that's gonna keep you grounded, man. And take it one day at a time. Take it 1 week, 1 month at a time, because things doesn't happen overnight, especially not for us. You know what I'm saying?
Tell me why you thought it was important and wanted to come up and tell your story today.
For one, I respect what you do. I respect the hustle. For two, one of my goals is to help the youth. And this is a platform for me to tell my story.
Absolutely appreciate that. I appreciate you coming up. And I guess tell the people, about where they can find you on social media. I saw you had the TikTok, Back Outside. What's all that about?
All right,
man?
so
I like what you're doing there.
I got the Back Outside on TikTok, and I also got an Instagram. We'll probably throw the link up there somewhere.
Yeah, the link will be in there.
It's just showing my process
Yeah.
of when I came home, and I want it to be like a tool for people that are coming home, or for people that have family that are incarcerated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that they can see my progression, they can see my struggles. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully somebody can learn. Or you know.
Seems you mentioned family a few times. Seems important to you. So I guess talk about like the effect that like prison, you being in prison, can have on the family members on the outside.
They doing the bid with you. That's a fact. They're doing the sentence with you. And they're worrying about you 24/7. And just like you're trying to keep it strong on the phone, they're trying to do the same thing too. They might not tell you everything because they don't want to get you stressed out. Because I know my family used to leave out a lot of things. When I would hear things from other people and I'm like, oh, that person didn't tell me that. It's because they don't want to stress me out. But at the same time, that's because they stressing hard too. You feel me? So just keep in mind when you're doing your dirt, man, your family's doing the dirt with you because they're going to do the bit with you.
Absolutely. I feel like when we get out here too, things might not always go our way. The stress, not getting the job a million times, I feel like for me, it's like always important to have like an outlet.
Facts.
Right? Like working out, doing this.
That's a fact.
I mean, what are some of your outlets that you
All right, so
use?
when I came home, man, one of my little brothers, man, was into kayaking. So he brought me out kayaking. I'm not a water type person. I get dizzy out there and everything, but it's just being out there.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful to be sitting in the water and you just look around and you just see trees and no streets, no concrete. All you see is water. You feel me? And just doing stuff like that, being around family, One time my little brother, man, he got an Airbnb out. I'm out, you know what I'm saying? Out in the woods, and we were just out there just chilling, you know what I'm saying? It's just being around family and just doing fun things, man. Just step out your comfort zone too, you know what I'm saying? Do things that you might not usually do.
Absolutely. So I guess if there was any closing words that you wanted to say, maybe things that we didn't get a chance to touch on that you want to speak on, or just kind of talk about like the main message that you wanted to get across today.
My main message that I want to get across today, man, is find what works for you. You know what I'm saying? We're all in the struggle together. We're all experiencing all this chaos. We're all experiencing this shit together. But what works for me might not work for you, or vice versa. So you have to find what works for you. And when you find that, lock in and learn about it, read about it, do research. So that way you can master this, you know what I'm saying? And then apply it every single day. And I promise you, it might not be a success, but it's gonna give you a better chance of success. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying like I'm an expert because I'm still trying to get this thing figured out. You feel me? But we can figure this shit out together. Like I said, I wanna work with the youth. My plan is to enlighten them that this is all a trap. This is all a setup, and there's a way there's a way out the trap. Or there's a way to not even get fallen into the trap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it starts with us, with the older guys that's already been through it, because they look up to us in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So that's the most important part, man. Yeah. And
it's like people are caught in the matrix out there.
And find a hobby, find something that you got a passion for. With this, if it's biking, music. I'm into music. I produce music. Shout out to Majin Basso, Baina Notra. He just dropped the joint too, man. Make sure y'all just look that up, man. Hi haters. I just have to plug that in real quick.
That's what it's about, bro. That's what this is about, man.
But yeah, man, it's all about the youth, man. And hopefully in the future, I'm gonna be doing speaking engagements and stuff like that. So hopefully you help me out putting that out there so we can get the youth to come out, man, listen and learn
Looking
something.
forward to seeing that. And it's like you say, you got to find what works for you. And it's going to be trial and error. Like you say, you're still learning. It's not going to be the first thing, but I feel like you got to have that open-mindedness to try new things, because obviously what you was doing before wasn't working. Or sometimes you got to bring it back to the childhood stuff.
Right.
Like, what did I like to do before I was smoking weed every day in the street? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sports, whatever it may be, working out, you know what I mean? So
that's a fact.
On that note, thanks again for
I appreciate the platform. I appreciate the time, Brody. Like I said earlier, I respect everything you do. I like when you drop the freestyles.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Keep grinding, Brody.
We out here, man. So, that's Cilo one last time, man. I'm your boy B. Luke. This is the Bounce Back Podcast.
Know that.
Remember, it is what it is. What's next? That's what you make it. On that note, we out of here. Peace.
Know that.
You got a moment when they see you down the